back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got Matt with me. And today we're going to go over the rest of the first round playoff series. The only game left to play is the New York Rangers versus the New Jersey Devils game 7. That's being played on Monday night. We're recording this Sunday night. I just got done watching the Florida Boston game. Wow, what a series. Not much Blackhawks news. With the Leafs beating Tampa, with the Leafs beating Tampa, the Blackhawks will pick at number 20 in the first round, plus their pick of the draft, which will land between 1 and 5. So, and that's from the Hagel trade, why we're getting an additional number 20 first round pick. So, first, let's go over Toronto and Tampa. Leafs closed it out in 6. Samson was very solid in net, man. I was really impressed with his performance. It just seemed like every single game he was dialed in, and he needed to be. He was playing against an old Tampa team, but these guys, man, were really putting it out there. But you could tell that with the youth on the side of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and these guys essentially getting bounced in the first round for the past 6 years straight, they were finally able to get over the hump. And I'm sure the city's going wild, man. What did you think of that series?
Yeah, Samsonov, man, he outplayed Vasi, and not a lot of goalies could say that they've done that.
Yeah,
and a lot of props to the hometown kid, Johnny Tavares. He great shift, that goal where he skated around a couple times and couldn't find an outlet, and then he just threw it on net, got a lucky bounce off the skate, and got the Leafs over the hump, man.
Incredible. Matthews, he had a pretty decent series, but I think Mitch Marner was probably the MVP of this series. What do you think?
Oh yeah, Mitch leading the team in points. The guy is not going to get the same spotlight as Matthews because he's not a big time goal scorer like Matthews was, even though I think he outscored him this year, I want to say.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, man, he's solid. Clutch plays. The Leafs, you know what, man? Tampa had him a couple times.
They did.
In game 3 and 4, I think they were up.
They blew third period leads. 2 third period leads.
4-1.
Yep.
There was a 4-1 lead, and
yes.
You lose that game, that you deserve to lose a series. And that's what happened to him. And you know what? Steven Stamkos, man, he's still a beast.
Yeah, he's still good.
He played awesome yesterday, getting a huge goal. Big moment for him. Captain leading the way, and just fell short, man. It's kind of a fluky goal, but hey, man, they don't ask how. They cross the goal line, it's a goal.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Tampa's tired. They're gonna rest up this summer. Heal up and be ready for next year. I bet you they're still a Stanley Cup contending team.
I think they're gonna go to the beach, go land a beach for a month. Or even a month and a half, man, from all the hockey that they played. Victor Hedman, dude, I think that he's playing with an injury. He didn't look his same self during the series. He wasn't as dominant as he typically is. And one thing that I think that was missing from this Tampa team was Ryan McDonough and Mark Savard playing 30 minutes a night.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, you need a guy like Ryan McDonough. They lost a couple guys. Palat,
unsung heroes.
And he went, and he's with Jersey now. Palat, and they're having success there, and he's a key playoff guy. Even like Tyler Johnson, man. Yanni Gord is with
Kraken,
the Kraken right now, and those are big key guys. And you know what? I got to give a big hand to freaking Brandon Hagel, man. He had an awesome season. I felt like every game I watched in the playoffs, he was on the ice every other shift.
Yeah.
Flying as usual. Like, that was such a great trade for Tampa. And I wish we still had him, but he fits with that team so well.
Yeah, he does.
Him and Braden Point and Cooch, man, they're going to be good for years. And he's making only $1 million, dude. What a steal for Tampa.
Absolutely. I think he's got one more year on that deal. But look, I think he's going to get. I would think that he's worth maybe at least $5 million.
He can easily get 7 if he tests free agency.
Yeah.
Why would you? You could play with these guys.
But these guys might be coming to an end, though, man.
It could be. I mean, like we said,
I think the window is closing. Vasilevsky didn't seem the same. Either he's tired, or maybe he has an injury that he's not really disclosing. But
he's outworked.
He didn't. He
was just outworked.
Yeah. I mean, he shouldn't be playing 50 games a year.
Well, the game where they were lighting him up, and Cooper said he tried to take him out, and he didn't want to come out. He's like, "No, I'm staying in." That's cool and everything. We like that warrior mentality, but dude, you should have reset, rest stuff for next game, because there's no point. You weren't going to win the game. It just got out of hand at the end with the Corey Perry and the Patty Maroon show going at it, just getting in their heads and stuff. But
yeah,
I mean, he should have said, "Hey, we got to get Elliott in there or something." Like I got to forget about it, move on, and get my head right. And he took a different approach, and he ended up winning the next game. But man, he's just outworked, dude. Very much outworked.
Yeah,
kind of like Marty Brodeur back in the day. Dude would play like 76 games out of the year. How would you like to be the backup for Jersey? I mean, you're not going to barely play. Yeah, you're not going to play. You're going to learn a lot watching, but you're not going to get a chance anywhere else because you don't got the experience. So,
right.
I mean, it's cool they found a guy like Brian Elliott because he's older and he's still pretty good, but they might want to invest in that in the summer, find a goalie that they can, maybe get maybe 20, at least 25 games and give this guy a break because it's showing the fatigue.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of, just to close this series out, great series, even though it only went 6 games, it would have been cool if they could have went 7, because these guys have just been battling the past couple of years, but I tip my hat off to both teams. Hopefully, Tampa can get the ship righted a little bit. Not that it's wrong. It's just that it looks like they need to retool, some time off, heal some injuries, some bumps and bruises, and maybe a little bit of load management during the season and get them ready for the playoffs, next year. Kucherov, man, Kucherov was kind of quiet this series.
Yeah, he was playing against some tough guys. He's getting, it's hard. It's hard in the playoffs. It's different. It's physical. And, he gets hurt. He gets hurt quite a bit.
Yeah, he does.
So
I think he played all 82 this year, though.
Yeah, but it's different. You're getting hit almost every shift. Like they're on you.
Yeah.
And Braden Point took a lot of hits. He was a target. Very underrated player in the league, Braden Point.
Yeah. I agree.
I think he was banged up. Steven Stamkos, who knows, man? That poor guy's always hurt, but he looked great this series, man. He looked a little healthy and regenerated, and he's such a good leader, man. Very underrated player. I'm a huge fan of him.
Yeah.
I think, I don't think it's really that they don't really need to do much. I think they just need time off. They need time to heal up. I think the team's fine.
Kucherov,
I would just look for that goalie, another goalie just to help your starter.
Kucherov had a goal and 5 assists, 6 points.
That's not enough.
No, it's not from him.
No.
He had 11 penalty minutes, though. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, that's not enough. I love the Lightning's. I love Perry and Maroon. Like that's such a good fourth line to have.
Yeah,
because they could score if they want. I mean, they got some talent, and they're just so good at the agitation stage of the game. I'd hate playing against Corey Perry because I'd probably want to punch him in the face every time I looked at him, and then I'm getting a penalty, and they're scoring power plays on us. So it's got to be hard to play against guys like that.
Well, here's another thing. Kucherov played all 82 games this season. I tip my hat to him. Had 113 points, 30 goals, 83 assists, and he was a -2 though. Wow. But
an assist every game.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, one more, and he had 36 penalty minutes in 82 games. In the playoffs, he had 11 in 6 games. So he was in the box quite a bit.
Yeah, that's weird. Very weird.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Avalanche Kraken. This series is being played right now. It is tied 0-0 after the end of the first period. This series, it started off with fireworks, and each game has been pretty tough. The Avs have run away with a couple of them, but they have 3 players on the Avs that have scored 12 goals as of right now. That's Rantanen, who else? McKinnon, and one other player. I forget who the other player is, but they have scored 12 goals. The Kraken have 14 players that have scored at least one goal, which is why I'm really pulling for this Kraken team, because it seems like every guy is chipping in for the cause. And that's what you like to see. Actually, that's what you need from your team to have postseason success. Not just the main guy scoring, but if you can get goals from everybody else, that's so helpful. And that's why the Kraken are in it against this Avalanche team, and why it's 0-0 at the end of this first period. Really surprised this Kraken team, man. Like you said here, they're really gutting it out. They are for real. They're not bowing down to this tough Avs team, which is really, really impressive. What have you taken from this Avalanche versus Kraken? Other than McKinnon, being the same freaking stud that he typically is. Makar, first 2 games, he wasn't really himself, but he's really made a difference after those first 2 games. But go on ahead, Matt.
Grubauer looks good,
he does.
Man. I think Grubauer is playing against his former team. They let him walk free agency, then they win the cup that year. I mean, that's got to hurt.
Yeah.
It's got to hurt. You're like, oh man, I should have took a little pay cut. I could have been a Stanley Cup champion.
Right.
But he's been good, man. And I watched that first period. It just seems like they're hanging on.
Sure.
Colorado's just coming at him fast. A puck possession game. And they're blocking shots, the Kraken, and they're getting it out, and they're just gunning it out. It's kind of like, do you get the vibe they kind of play like the Predators?
The Kraken?
Like kind of tight, boring a little bit, but I mean, they'll surprise you. I don't watch too much of them, but they just looked.
They hit a lot. Like they hit a lot more than the Kraken do. At least in this playoff series, they came out throwing bombs, which you typically don't see from.
Well, I did see that hit. Cogliano got hit from Jordan Eberle.
Right.
And it knocked him out. And I heard Cogliano is such a good leader in that locker room. He's an older guy, experienced, and he loves to talk. They're saying he's good with the speeches, the pregame speeches and in-between period speeches, stuff like that. And I think he's out for a while. That looked like a bad hit. And I think his face just went right into the board. So, man, I think the Avs are battling to get healthy, and they're tired too, man. They were in that playoff series last year with Tampa. That was a good series.
Wow.
But I'm pulling for the Kraken. I think it would just be so cool to get these bottom feeder teams just knocking these top teams out.
Yeah, because obviously you're just not expecting it all. I thought the Avalanche were going to roll over the Kraken. That's just not the case. These guys are for real, man. This series isn't over with yet. Like you said, Grubauer has been playing well. Georgiev is getting that experience that he really needs, because he doesn't have any playoff experience. And but he's playing in front of a really great team, and it seems like Grubauer is playing in front of a ragtag team full of misfits that are
that's what they are,
that have really pulled it together. I set my hat to them, and I think that they are going to move on after this game. We'll see how well that take ages.
We'll keep you posted through the pod too, the scores, hopefully.
Devils versus Rangers. Rangers are they forced a game 7. I was hoping that the Devils were going to take care of business and do it in 6. Jack Hughes was a complete no-show in game 6. I saw him. Here's something I want to bring up. The passing was absolutely atrocious yesterday on the Rangers side of the puck and the Devil side. I don't know if it's something related to the ice. Something's going on with the ice, but the passing yesterday, man, was absolutely horrible. So hopefully, I don't know if there's ice problems, they get that stuff straightened out, but
I don't know. That's Madison Square Garden. I mean, that's got to be the best. It's New York.
Well, I wonder what I wonder what the weather's like there, because I know that has something to do with the ice. If it's warm outside, that it can it does something with the ice.
Did you hear any rumors about Gallant being pissed off at Kaner?
No,
I heard that Kaner was benched one of these games, and they're not happy with his defensive play. And we could have warned you about that, man. I mean, you're getting a one-dimensional guy at this point.
Did they think they were getting Jonathan Taves?
I mean, if you wanted a face-off guy, defensive first guy, Taves would have been better.
Right.
But Kaner, he's looked good. He's had some really good Showtime flashback moments.
Sure.
But I have, honestly, I haven't heard too much about him. It's been the story has been this Devils goalie that's been called up, Schmid.
Yeah.
And he's stealing the spotlight from everybody.
Akira Schmid. Yeah, I was going to get into him. But Kaner, yesterday I saw him drop a penalty with a trip on a breakaway, which was really nice. But I don't know what Gallant is expecting out of Kane, because Kane's a game breaker. He's somebody who can, get you that goal when you need it. He's there for offensive purposes. Can he back check? Yes. I don't think that his hip is in the best condition. So I think that he is limiting his output or his energy towards offensive output. But, I saw passes being passed in front of him, behind him yesterday. And, there isn't really much he can do with that.
Yeah, they look out of sync.
Yeah. So, when the Devils have issues, they have really big issues, man. Not little things that they need to take care of. It's like the team is just completely out of sorts. And you wonder which team is going to show up for Game 7. Is it going to be the dominant team that can show stretches of brilliance? Or is it going to be the team that, that it looks like they got a couple of AHL guys together and, they're playing in their first NHL game? Because, I'm really curious. And then you don't know what Devils team is going to show up too. Is Jack Hughes going to be a difference maker tomorrow? Is he going to earn his check? Is he going to go out there and be the star that they need him to be? Or is he, just going to be their regular season guy? Because so far this year, I don't think that he's really put up too much. Let me look at his numbers for the playoffs.
They got home ice. That's huge, man. When you're an inexperienced playoff team, you got your crowd behind you. That's got to amp you up.
3 goals, 1 assist. He's got 4 points, and he's a -1. So no, this dude isn't. I don't think that he's putting out what this team needs for him to win. For this team to win.
I'm impressed that the Devils won 3 in a row.
Sure.
I mean, when I saw the Rangers go up 2-0. I'm like, and the inexperience is showing.
And they dominated them too.
And then they dominated 3 games in a row. That's freaking impressive. So I don't know what to think now, man, this Game 7. I really don't. Like you were saying, what Devils team's going to show up? The Devils of Game 3 to 5 or I'm sorry, 6? And like, what are we going to get? Are we going to get the no-shows? Are we going to get the guys that are just... We don't know any better. We're going to go out and, light the Rangers up.
In some of these other matchups, it's like this Game 7 are their best selves going to show up and them just crash together? Or is it going to be like their worst selves showing up and it's going to be like one of the worst Game 7s, of the 22-23 season's playoffs?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with the home ice guys.
I think too.
Home ice advantage it's huge in the playoffs. It's huge, especially for a young, enthusiastic team like the Devils. I mean, I know I picked the Rangers, but I think the Devils might come away with this one, man. And it might be an OT.
Yeah, I'm a little critical of Jack Hughes, but I will say I think he gets a goal tomorrow in Game 7. I think he's going to show up.
We've been critical of him for a long time, and he's kind of proven us wrong a lot.
I mean, I can go through his numbers, if you want to. 21 points in 61 games in his first season, 31 points in his second season, 56 games. And last season, he scored 56 in 49 games, which was a lot better. But, that's not what looking at those numbers, I'm not saying to myself, yeah, man, this guy is well deserving of a $8 million contract. I think that the Devils went out on a limb and it paid off for them this season because in 78 games, he busted out for 43 goals, 56 assists, and 99 points, -10. But I mean, he was a +10, which is good. He's not a minus player, but, yeah, I was just expecting more for this guy in the playoffs. I was just expecting it to be somewhat of the Jack Hughes show, and him and these younger guys like Nico Hischier and Timo Meier. Kind of like these guys are going to be the new, face of the Devils that are going to be taking them into the next 10 odd years, 10, 12 years.
Well, they're new. So I mean,
Right.
sometimes it takes a while. Like we were lucky with the Hawks. Like Kane and Taves just kind of dove in and like, yeah, we're good.
Right.
These guys, it took Hughes a while to get going in the season. So
yeah,
and Timo Meier, I don't think has that much experience with the Sharks. I think he kind of came
playoffs.
in on the not the good Sharks where we experienced like the Patty Marlows and Pavelskis that just dominated all those years, but. It might take a while, but I mean, if they can upset the Rangers tomorrow, man, that's a huge like wake up call to the league. Like, hey, wake up! This young team, they're up and coming. So
listen to this.
And the Rangers, the window might be closed.
Dude, listen to this: 2023 playoffs, 6 games played for Timo Meier, 0 goals, 0 assists, a -3, and 20 penalty minutes.
So he's got to get going tomorrow because they gave him some cash.
Yeah.
So he's got to earn it, man. They need him to score. Nico Hischier, he's I believe is their captain.
Yeah, he is.
Which I thought it was a kind of a weird pick, a couple of years ago. But hey, they're going with their guy. He's got to have a big game. And who's ever in net, because they're saying there's a little controversy now with Vanacek and the Schmid guy. Schmid. I think I'd go with the kid.
I think I would too.
There.
Yeah.
He got you there. You stick with him. Don't. I mean, it might have been a good move to take him out and get his head right again, but you got to give this kid the go because I mean, he carried you. He saved you from getting swept. So
yeah,
I definitely go with him. Game 7.
That would have been really bad. Let's see here. Eric Wallace got 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists. Not a lot of point production.
Speedster.
Yeah, not a lot of point production. But Akira Schmid, like we mentioned earlier, man, that guy he got him there. I would definitely play him.
That'd be a good coaching move, unlike what the couple series we're going to talk about, the Boston-Florida series. We'll talk about that move.
Here we go. Vegas, Winnipeg. Knights move on, defeat the Jets in 4-1. I was expecting that to be a sweep, but Winnipeg came out for 1. Let's get off. Let's start right off and talk about Connor Hellebyuk. He's the reason that they got there. The reason that they actually won 1 game. He doesn't want to play on a team that is. He doesn't want to play on a team that is rebuilding. The Winnipeg Jets are kind of a team that's in between. Obviously, they made the playoffs, but they didn't really. There was really no competition there for them in Vegas. Mind you, Vegas has really turned it around, but there wasn't any competition there, and they have, I think, a lot that they need to change. Let me look up Kyle Connor's stats because I was expecting him to have a pretty decent playoffs, but it's
such a weird team.
I didn't really notice him much.
Really
he had 3 goals and an assist in 5 games, 4 points in 5 games, but I think you need more from a guy who is going to be, your top point producer.
Check Mark Scheifele. I think he's another guy that, hasn't been famous for showing up when they needed him. And obviously Blake Wheeler is another guy that's extremely overrated. And he's kind of fallen off the earth. And you know what? What really hurt the Jets was losing Morrissey. He was a Norris candidate guy, and he was super important to that team. He very productive offensively, and he played great defense too. So
Mark Scheifele had 1 point.
Yeah, that's not good enough for a guy who's making top dollar. I don't think he'll be around that much longer. And I wouldn't even call it a rebuild. I'd call it more of a let's flip this guy and get younger and kind of reload. You know what I mean? Not rebuild from the ground up, because you got a number 1 goalie that's phenomenal who can win you games, probably win you 20, 30 games alone with a performance. So I think Hellebyuk is probably, he's angry. They got freaking just beat bad, but I think this is probably the team that he's got the most. Look around the league. Most of these teams got their guy.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to go. He's not going to go to a team.
He's rebuilding.
I mean, yeah, you're going to go to another rebuilding team. This team's closer. Yeah, I think he should be loyal to them. They're loyal to him. So I think right now he's just got to let the anger go away and kind of sit back and analyze everything a little bit more before he starts talking about rebuilds. And he's not interested in that, because you're just going to start a war with your media and your fans.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
It's not going to make it easy on your agent.
No, you're just starting more controversy, and you don't want that at all. You don't want any of that.
Vegas is rolling. Talk about a quick turnaround for this team. I think getting that. I think that Vegas is at a point where they're like, you know what? Kind of like at the same time where Toronto is. You know, we've made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. We had a bad year last year. We turned it around. We've got our team. Mark Stone's healthy-ish, you know, and
who knows?
and we're looking to finally get over that hump and win a playoff series. Win the Stanley Cup. They've got Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel's healthy for this is like his first full season in a really long time. I'm glad that it is, because, you know, he's had a nice bounce back to his career. And this is a team that's looking to finally take that last step. They didn't really get that challenge in the first round like some of these other teams, say like the Avs and the Kraken and Florida and Boston, but they're looking to, they might be more rested. Tell me, Matt, what do you think is more valuable, being more rested going into a series, or going through a battle and having that tenacity, that knowing that you've gone to the brink and gone over the other side?
I think I'm going to use the quote from Peter Forsberg: "Rest is one of the greatest weapons you can have," and especially when you want to have an edge over your teammates, and having healthy legs, man, fresh legs it's huge. They've been how long have they been sitting now? What, about a week?
I think it's been like maybe 5 days now.
That's a long time. So they're playing, and they can't start, until tomorrow, or until the Devils and Rangers are done. Right. So you got to think, you got a travel day, so probably Tuesday. So, and I think they're playing against Connor McDavid and the Oilers, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the matchup set in stone now.
Right.
And Eichel versus McDavid, kind of cool. A couple of years back, it was the first round overall, and the second overall, and it's going to be a battle, man. I'm not going to do a prediction yet because I want to analyze everything, but can you imagine if Robin Lehner was healthy and not going through his money issues right now? I think Vegas would be the favorite for me out of the West, but they're not. I'm still going to go with Edmonton, I think.
I'm going to go with Vegas, just to Chandler Stevenson's got 8 points, 4 goals, 4 assists. Mark Stone, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in 5 games. William Karlsson's got 4 goals and 1 assist, 5 games. Jack Eichel, 3 goals and 2 assists. Alex Pietrangelo's got 5 assists. Brett Howden's got 2 goals, 2 assists. There's a lot of scoring going down the roster here, where not one guy is doing it all. When you look at Edmonton, if something happens to Leon Draisaitl, it's over. Absolutely over. No chance that they move on, even with Connor McDavid. And I got to say this, man, the only reason Connor McDavid can be Connor McDavid, I think, is because of Leon. Leon's elite, man. He's elite.
Yeah, he's good.
He's got, I think he had a point in every single point that Edmonton had in their first round. Let me look up Connor McDavid's stats for the first round. Hold on.
I think he's got 10 points.
McDavid?
Yes, I think he had 10 points, and I want to say Draisatl had 12.
No, I think Draisatl had like 16 or 12 or something like that.
I'm pretty sure it was 12.
Let me see.
Well, did you know what's up with Vegas? What's interesting is Phil Kessel was a healthy scratch a couple of games.
3 goals, 7 assists, meaning that he just happened to pass it to somebody who passed it to somebody who fucking scored, who was probably Draisaitl's, and he had 3 goals. So 10 points.
He's got to turn it up for sure.
10 points in 6 games. He is their guy. He is the dude that media engine rolls through. He is the guy who has gotten them to this point so far. I think that he needs to be bigger for them. Let me look at Draisaitl stats here really quick. Hold on a second here. Leon. 7 goals, 4 assists, 11 points, and he's a +4. 6 penalty minutes. Well, I didn't even know he was in the box. 7 goals, man. The guy showed up big time. If Leon didn't show up in this series or was hurt, it would be
Kings could have stolen it.
It would be over. I think it would have been game over for him. If these two guys are playing, Edmonton has what it takes to win, especially if they get some secondary scoring from Evander Kane and whoever else is on the squad.
Nuge, yeah.
Well, let's see what he did.
I heard there was a guy, Bouchard, who's kind of, up and down the top 6, had a good series too.
Nugent Hopkins -2, 4 points, all assists.
Well, how about going back to Vegas? How about Phil the Thrill? He was a healthy scratch.
Yeah, he was a healthy scratch.
And he was very upset by it. And Bruce Cassidy said it was a tough decision to sit the 36-year-old who had 83 points, 34 goals, and 49 assists in 100 Stanley Cup playoff games.
2 assists.
Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not good enough, but I think against this team in Edmonton,
they were playing Winnipeg. I mean, I don't know why they would take him out of the lineup.
He's fast still for a guy who looks like he could probably work at like a Best Buy, a Geek Squad guy. And he, you know what I mean? He doesn't look like a hockey player.
Selling hot dogs.
That guy could go out anywhere he wants and no one would ever bug him because unless you're a hockey fan, I mean, they're going to be like, look at this dude. He's got he's a normal looking dude. I showed my wife a picture of Tyler Bertuzzi and I was like, if we were at like say a party and I pointed to this guy and I said, this guy is an elite NHL athlete, what would you say? Tyler Bertuzzi's picture? Yeah. That one you sent me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's this guy? Like, man, that's the hockey build right there.
I would if I was single, I would just hang out with that guy. I'd be like, hey, you do your thing. Yeah. I got the friends.
Yeah, I think I would too. He has that thing about him. He's an ugly dude, but he's got that thing.
He is just a hockey player, man. And we'll get into him in the next series or whatever, but dude, what a stud.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's a gamer. But anyways, just to finish up this, which one are we on? Oh, Vegas and Winnipeg. Oh, we were going through Edmonton. Hold on a second. Why did I bring up Edmonton? Oh, I was talking about production for the next round because we were talking about Vegas.
Vegas, yeah, the production of Edmonton.
Right.
So we're with, yeah.
All right, so Vegas is going to be playing Edmonton, right? Make it straight. Yep,
Vegas, Edmonton. It's
we're making our predictions.
The Eichel versus McDavid show.
Lost my train of thought there. It's crazy. Anyways, I'm going to go with Vegas, man. I think that up and down that they're a stronger team. They're actually kind of like the Kings, but more elite in a way. Korpisalo, I thought was good for the Kings. We'll get into that in a little bit. But I think that Vegas is like a Kings type of team, but more elite, more better. And they have more scoring. So I think that they can give Edmonton a hard time. Edmonton had a really hard time with the Kings, man.
I don't know what it is. I think they just are. Last year they had a hard time with them too. They barely would sneak in, and
that went 7 games, didn't it? Yeah,
I think it went 7. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. It's you got those guys like Philip Deneau and Kopitar. Obviously, those guys can play a good 2-way game, and it's really annoying to play against teams like that. And hopefully, we see McDavid kind of say, okay, now it's not as hard. Now I could kind of be myself and not worry about these guys all over me all the time. So hopefully he kind of has a breakout series against the Golden Knights.
Before I go any further, I got to let everybody know that you can light the lamp up during the hockey playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can make a $5 bet and score $150 in bonus bets instantly. Moneyline for the Rangers versus Devils is plus 100 for the Rangers, minus 120 for the Devils. Incredible that the Devils were able to get it to a 7-game series like we were saying earlier, man. This squad, I think that the Devils are going to pull it out tomorrow. I'm not going to say how to place your bets. I'm saying that I think that the Devils are going to win that game. You've got the Devils as well. Hopefully, they can do us a favor and knock the Rangers out. So, what you need to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Sign up with code THPN. New customers can make a $5 hockey playoff bet and score $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. Now, Canes versus Islanders. I was expecting I thought the Islanders were dead on arrival, but they did a better job than I thought. They pulled out 2 games. I was looking for Bo Horvat. Actually, could be the reason why this team was more competitive than what it could have been. What did you see in this team, Matt?
I saw terrible goaltending, especially the game-winning goals of a couple of those wins that the Hurricanes had. Just terrible goaltending. One of the goals, I believe it was the clinching game. The Carolina shooter, I'm sorry, I don't know it off the top of my head, but he scored from the goal line.
Wow.
Along the boards pretty much. And like, that's just like a goal that you cannot ever give up during a season, not even a preseason game. You can't give it up in an elimination game. So I mean, the Islanders, I honestly, man, I would have rather seen the Sabres make the playoffs than, the Islanders or the Panthers, but they made it, and I thought they were gritty at times. I think they're a gritty team, kind of boring. Bo Horvat was a good addition, I think, and he'll complement Matthew Barzal because he's kind of that playmaking guy and kind of been there alone since Tavares has been gone. But they got some good pieces. I think they're getting a little too old. They might have to move on from some of these guys. But yeah, they're not even close, man. Good for them for making the playoffs. They had a good bounce back year. But yeah, it was kind of just an easy little warm up series for the Hurricanes for the next round. It seemed like.
Yeah, it seemed like the Islanders, man. I want to tip my hat to them, considering that they bounced back so well from having such a bad season last year, having the opportunity and kind of the incentive to actually tank of this season, but instead that they really turned it around and they made the playoffs this year. And last year they were one of the
terrible.
They were one of the league's worst teams last year. So great job, guys! Really great effort that they put forth. Anybody stand out versus the Canes for you?
Brent Burns. Guy's a stud, man. The beard is looking good. He's probably got Manscaped stuff. He's looking good. And you know what, man? He is that guy that they've been needing on the blue line. This guy's clutch on the power play. He'll make a good pass, get a couple assists, and he can play good defense. And that's something that they've needed for a while. I think he is probably. That was a great trade by, I think Don Waddell is the GM there, and Rod Brendamore instantly fell in love with the guy. And I think he's got some Stanley Cup playoff experience with the Sharks, and he's been in the finals once, and they didn't win, but the guy he's been through the grind. I think it's just a great trade for them, and it's paying off, man.
I think that Brent Burns, considering that he's 38 years old, I think he's playing out of his mind. I think that he's, like you said, he is a difference maker for this team. This team has needed a player to help them get to the next level, man, because they've been regular season studs and then playoff duds.
Second round
chokers, man. And when they were playing Tampa, I think it was a couple seasons ago. I don't think it was last season. Dude,
yeah, they beat themselves.
They completely beat themselves, man. I mean, they kept on putting them on the power play and they kept on scoring. I think in one game they were up 5-1 and Tampa came back and won that game.
Yeah, that can't happen. And
so,
Brendamore took his shirt off and started flexing at everybody, scaring the shit out of him because he's jacked. But that's something they're going to learn now. I mean, they got some really good, complete guys. Sebastian Aho's a stud. They've done good things. They just need to get over this second round curse that they have. You know what? Freddie Anderson, man, he's never healthy at this time. And Antti Ranta, I don't know what this guy is all about yet. We're going to learn a lot this series. Hopefully the guy could carry the load because he's had some bad luck the last couple of years, and he kind of gets overworked a little bit, and he gets hurt.
Yeah, he does.
So I like the Hurricanes. I think they're one of the contenders now at the East. I think they could come away and win the East now with what happened tonight.
When this season ends, do you think it's time for the Canes to walk away from Anderson?
Oh yeah. There's no if you're not going to play in the playoffs, you're no good to us. So I don't know what his contract is. What is he going to be a free agent this year, or does he got? I would try to move him because
let me take a look at his contract.
It's kind of a waste of a cap hit.
Yeah,
if they got good goaltending prospects. I know the guys that they call up. I think this kid Lyons they have playing with the Wolves was really good. Another Russian goalie was good. I mean, maybe it's time to bring one of these kids up and play with Ranta, kind of battle it out for the starting job.
Let's see here, Cat Friendly. He has where is it at here?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the Leafs have looked good. I mean, they made the right decision to let him go because they've probably experienced the same things. Like, hey, you're so good for us in the season, and you get hurt and you don't help us, and that's $5 million we could spend.
Yeah.
So
looks like it's 2 year. Signed on the 28th of July, 2021. Signed a 2 year, $9 million contract with the Hurricanes. So there's something else that they can do with that $4.5 million.
Yeah.
2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. He's not available for the playoffs.
Not available. Yeah. I think it might be time to go. And I think the Hurricanes are going to be fine even if he does walk for nothing. It's not a big thing. They got some good goaltending guys in the wings ready to go. So. Yep, it's going to be a fun series, though. I'm excited for them.
Let's see. We've got the Wild versus Dallas. Stars win 4-2 in that series. Rupi Hens had a excellent series with 12 points in 6 games. Do you think that for Dallas, this was kind of it started off tougher than they thought that it was going to, and then they kind of just went. It just kind of went to shit for the Wild and downhill for Dallas. They kind of just walked over them at the end.
I just couldn't watch the series. It was just so boring to me. What am I watching? I wanted to see the Dallas. I want to see the Mike Modano Dallas Stars. The Darian Hatchers playing really good playoff hockey. These guys are they're not interesting to watch, but Rupe Hintz, Jason Robertson, good players, and you got your older veteran core guys that are playing well, and Jake Ottinger's going to be solid. I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going to go with the next round. They're not flashy to me. And Minnesota, I can care less about them. I'm never going to like the Minnesota Wild. Super boring team, and I mean they got one guy. I think Matt Dumba kind of fell a little bit. He was kind of hyped to be a really good player. Marc-Andre Fleury was a good addition for them. They got a goalie finally.
Right.
But still wasn't enough. I mean, I just don't see what's so good about Dallas. I really don't. I think Jake Ottinger is a big part of that team's success, though. He's such a solid goalie, man.
Yeah. I thought that it was really what stood out to me was Pavelski, that hit that he took. Him being
poor guy can't catch a break,
not in the playoffs, and it's he's somebody, man, that the Dallas really, really needs. They need a healthy Pavelski,
and he's a great playoff player,
great leader too,
great playoff player,
great leader. So it's really unfortunate that he is, he's hurt, and but like you said, man, this Dallas series was. It wasn't very boring. It wasn't very entertaining at all.
No. Probably the worst series out there, I think, this year. Just when I'd see them on, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go watch a team out east because it's exciting.
Right?
This was just a sleep show.
Yeah. But Florida versus Boston, on the other hand, completely different story.
Baby.
You know what, man? I had Florida losing this series, and as of tonight, Florida beat Boston in overtime, no less. What a great game, man. What a great series. Me and my wife and kids were watching Game 6 the other day, and I think it was 3-2 going into the third period. And
7 goals scored, right?
And the game ended 7-5. One of them was an empty netter, though. So you can really say it was 6-5, man. But they just kept going back and forth in that third period. Matthew Tkachuk, I've been talking about him a lot recently. He had 10 points in 7 games, man. What a stud. I should check his penalty minutes. Hold on a second.
Mike actually just bought the jersey. It's on the way. You know, this is his boy. It's his new guy, I think.
I like him, man.
I like him too, man. I like what we were talking about. Like, he's top 10 in points, and his penalty minutes are just absolutely ridiculous. Like, what would he be Connor McDavid if he wasn't in the box? He probably would be, but he's not going to change. He's effective.
Yeah,
it worked. He absolutely carried the team. They followed his lead and they gutted one out, you know, in Boston, Game 7 against the team who set the record for most wins in a season. I think 65 or whatever it was.
Right.
They were 44 points ahead of them in the standings, and you lose to the Florida Panthers.
Oh
man, that is just, oh my goodness. There's got to be a lot of heartbreaking people in Boston, right? I can't believe the city's not on fire right now.
In all honesty, man, you know, it's like, you know how whenever the President's Trophy winner, there hasn't been a winner in 10 years that's won the President's Trophy, and that was our Chicago Blackhawks.
2013 Blackhawks. I saw that little thing they put up today, and it said lost first round, lost second round, lost all the teams above them. And then they go to the Blackhawks, won Stanley Cup.
And we got to cut to, you know, because everybody hates the Blackhawks.
Yeah, we got to cut.
But, yeah, man, the Boston, they are, it was almost as if, you know, it was so good for them during the regular season. I'm like, man, if this team loses in the first round, I mean, it's almost like they're destined to. They're playing Florida. It's like, okay, Florida hasn't been able to really have tremendous playoff success in the past. So what makes you think that they're going to beat Boston? Oh, I know what it is. They traded away Huberdeau, who practically didn't do much. I think 50 points in Calgary, and brought in Matthew Tkachuk, who actually had didn't have a better season this year, but he had 109 points, 40 goals, 69 assists, and 123 penalty minutes, which is absolutely incredible. In this series, he had 16 penalty minutes. It's 7 games. This guy, man, you know, it's he's a difference maker, man.
He's a monster.
Let me check the stats of the game today. But go ahead, let me know what you think of the series.
Well, here is my question for you. If you are the head coach of the Boston Bruins, what goaltender are you starting tonight? The guy who got you there and probably going to win the Vezina Trophy, or a guy who's been sitting 6 straight games?
Well, I would think that I would go with my number one guy.
Ullmark was on the bench.
He was. I saw him.
Swayman, not a bad goalie at all. Nothing against him. The first goal you gave up 5-hole against the defenseman on the backhand was atrocious.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that caused you to lose the game, because, you know, it didn't. It was tied in overtime. It was tied. That goal was forgotten. But it's kind of crappy to do to him. Like, this guy's been sitting 6 straight games.
Yeah.
And you're going to throw him into the fire right now with no, like...
in an elimination game.
I mean, come on. That's just shitty to do to a goalie. I would hate that. I mean, he's an athlete, though. He's a pro. He's like, oh, I'm going to win this game. I'm going to show... Of course, but come on. What about the other guy who got you there? Yeah, he had a couple bad games. He gave up a couple bad goals, but the team wasn't that good. The team's got to play better, too. So I just thought that was a bad coaching move. I would have went with my Vezina Trophy winner in Ullmark. I think that really costed them. And, you know, some of the stars didn't show up, but the guy that should be getting a contract extension, like it should be getting like worked on right now, is Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yeah.
Going back to our guy.
Yeah.
What a stud. He scored tonight, too.
Yeah.
He has just been so clutch. What a trade for them. Like that was a great trade for the Bruins, bringing in this guy, gritty, playoff-like guy, blocking shots, scoring big goals. And man, if I'm Florida, look at this guy. Let's get this guy playing with Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Let's give this guy. Let's throw some money at this guy because, I mean, he's probably going to make some cash after this playoff series alone.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get more. There's rumors he might go back to Detroit, which I know he loves it there. He's good friends with Dylan Larkin. That'd be cool too. Yeah. But I'm just saying, man, what a performance for him.
7 games played. He had 10 points. 5 goals,
That's
5
incredible.
assists. Actually, he had the same stats that Tkachuk did.
Just a gritty guy. You know, what a series for him too. I mean, it sucks he couldn't win it and go to the next round, but that was his first playoff series, man.
First playoff series, and he showed up, dude.
He showed up big time. So if I'm a team looking to get over the hump and he's showing up on July 1st as a free agent, I'm calling him first.
Yeah. He was. Let me look up Pasternak's. He had.
I know there was a lot of negativity towards him.
5 goals,
not showing up.
He had
after
5
he
goals.
scored 65. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, but he scored 60, right?
Right.
I mean, he
had 61, 113
Bergeron
points.
was hurt. You know,
he was
Marchand.
Hurt,
I didn't really see too much of Bergeron, or not Bergeron,
Marchand.
And
I think this was Bergeron's last game.
It could have been. He
was
but
hugging the guys.
You don't want to go out that way.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, you're never going to top this season ever again. It's never going to happen.
Right.
So who knows, man? If it is the end, what a career, Hall of Fame guy. Maybe consider changing the Selke trophy to the Bergeron. It could happen.
Yeah.
He's been that good.
Yeah, he was. If Bergeron wasn't playing right now, we'd probably be saying change it to the Taves trophy. But unfortunately for Taves, he played during the time of Bergeron and was only able to get 1 Selke. So talk about 2 perennial guys, man, that we could throw Kopitar in there too. 3 guys that really embodied the two-way center gameplay.
You can even throw Kessler in there, man.
Yeah,
you could.
He didn't play as long as the other guys did, but
he played hard though, man.
He
played hard he had to retire.
Absolutely.
That's how bad it got for him. But you could throw him in there, but Bergeron is way ahead, and second place guy is far behind.
Right,
big separation in there.
So Kings versus Oilers as our last series to go over. I was really pulling for the Kings, like I had mentioned before. I like a complete team and not one team that's kind of headlined by 1 or 2 guys. But they fell to the Oilers 4-2. I'm looking for them to. They might need to retool a little bit because if they're looking to play Edmonton in every year in the playoffs, there needs to be a little bit more, maybe a little bit more firepower, and they need to get a Ryan McDonough in there. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the moves that they made. They brought in Arvidsson and Philip Deneau before. That's solid guy. You know, he getting rid of Quick was a little questionable to me. I didn't see the point of it. Just because, like you're struggling in a playoff series, you want to have a Stanley Cup 2-time Stanley Cup winning guy as a backup. You know, I think that would have been a good insurance policy for them, but they gave him to Vegas, and now Vegas is going to use him as an insurance policy.
Man, I would have loved to have seen that, though.
Oh, God, that would have been
I wanted
great.
it.
That would have been must-see TV. And Quick would be begging to play. He'd be like, you know what, you're putting me in because I'm sweeping these motherfuckers. You know, like what they did to me, I'm going to get them back. I could see Quick getting in this series though. The next series against against the Oilers, I could see him, getting a shot. I could see Connor kind of unloading on this guy. I think Logan Thompson was in net. I think they'll probably let him up a couple games because he's a young goalie. Now it's going to be a different series, man. It's kind of like the best of the best playing now, so it's got to be different. I just kind of wish Robin Leonard was in for this series. I want to see him, get a shot, like a legit healthy team in front of him, and
him healthy.
Yeah, him healthy too. I think it just would be awesome, but he's going through a lot of crap right now.
I think that Leon Draisaitl is making a statement, kind of like Mitch Marner is in Toronto, that they're not really second tier guys, man. They are.
Yeah, we're first.
They are. They are true superstars. I'm not saying that McDavid and Austin Matthews aren't superstars, but Draisaitl, I think that it's always kind of like he's like this little sideshow to McDavid, and they need to show
Batman and Robin type of thing.
And he's in his own way. He's like, I guess you can call him Nightwing, or something, but he's or Superman, fuck it, because he makes a difference, man. He does.
Oh God, he's right there, man, with McDavid. McDavid's just so unbelievably skilled, like the moves and the speed and
they're flashy.
The scoring touch. Draisaitl is just a force.
He's just firing backhanded saucer passes, over 3 lines, right onto someone in stride.
And a great shot, very good release, and it's just that McDavid just looks like the speed, the moves, the spins, the 0 to 1,000 with one little step. Like that's just like appealing to like the non-hockey guy. Like, whoa, you see that guy?
Yeah.
But Draisaitl is he's clutch, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's like just an elite power forward. Like if he gets any space, he'll bury it. Like he's just so good. And it just sucks. I mean, it's crazy. They're both on the same team, the 2 best players in the world.
Can you believe that?
It's crazy. And it's got to get done sooner or later. I think if Colorado loses tonight, I think their chance to win the West is almost as good as Toronto winning for the East, because all these good teams are getting bounced. So I think this is like the window, like, come and take it. Let's go. It's closing. Yeah.
It's 21 seconds left in the second period. Avalanche just scored. It's 2-1 Kraken lead.
Wow. 2-1 Kraken.
Right.
Wow. I just buckle up. It's going to be awesome.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it, man.
It's crazy.
Oh man. So yeah, we'll have to see how that's kind of the update on that game. So we are going to obviously continue doing the next round of the playoffs. This round has been absolutely incredible. To be honest with you, man, I haven't seen a first round this good in a really, really long time. I really, really enjoyed it. Minus, Wild in Dallas, that could have been better. Other than that one, man, I think that these have all been really, really great series. Even this Devils and Rangers turned into a good one. But that's all that we got for you guys tonight. Thank you very, very much for listening. Hit subscribe if you can. And we'll catch you on the next one. This is the Tomahawk. We're out of here.